housekeeping. People probably will be coming in, and so if you can catch anybody up with all these things I'm going to tell you, it's not too drastic, then I'd really appreciate that. Lots of people, hi Sonia, lots of people will be kind of arriving tomorrow. So first of all, we're not expecting any fire tests this weekend, so if there is a, please read the thing on the back of your door. If you're in a tent, they haven't told me what to tell you to do, but I guess you're already in a field, so you'll be alright. Unless you're the one who's caused the fire. The programme has got WF1 and WF2 or WG, they're all the wrong way round. So 1 and 2 isn't on the ground, it's on the top floor, the first floor, and 3 and 4 are on the ground floor. But go to the number. So we'll put the workshops in the seminar room number, okay? But if it says ground floor, you're probably on the first floor, and if it says first floor, you're probably on the ground floor. Also, in all my wonderfulness, I spelled Weston, Western. Okay, so it really means Weston. I'm sure you could have worked that out, but okay, so that's all my confessions about the programme so far. They're the only ones that have been pointed out to me anyway. For those of you that are new to BAPA conferences, could everyone in the CG wearing a tie-dye t-shirt stand up, please? These people, anyone you see wearing one of these wonderful tie-dye shirts that I did a few years ago, they're there to help you. So if you're stuck in anything, please grab someone with a tie-dye shirt on and ask them. If they take the shirt off, that means they're pretty tired, so please give them a break and find someone with one on. Okay? Yeah. So, apart from that, I think that's all from me. I'm going to briefly introduce Trev Baker, who's come along here today wonderfully for our benefit. I'm not going to say anything about him because your presentation, your talk is going to be about your life, isn't it, Trev? So I'd like to offer a warm welcome to Trev, please.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you for inviting me. It's a great honour to be here. And yeah, this is basically what I'm going to do now is basically go through my story of my injury and my life. So yeah, this is a title, Life Also, and obviously adapting to life after spinal injury. Okay, so can we have the first slide? I thought I'd start with this one. And I thought, well, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. I don't know who wrote it, I don't know where it came from, so don't judge me on that. But I thought it summed up, you know, how I've been and what's kind of got me going. And it's just a nice little boost to me. Okay, so I wasn't born like this. This was an accident that happened. So a little bit about my life before my injury. Nice little picture of me as a kid. Growing up, I loved hiking, I loved being out, I was always adventurous, I loved being a kid, I loved doing stuff. And for me, as far back as I can remember, riding a bike was always a pleasure, and it was always something that I did. Okay, come on, first one. And as I grew up, I got more and more into mountain biking, and it became part of my life. Because I never actually drove a car, I never actually drove. I always biked, so I relied on myself to get to work, to travel, etc. But I also used to do mountain biking for fun and for pleasure. We went all over the country, went to Wales, Scotland, all over mountain biking, and hacking down mountains is fun. Okay. I was also big style into my skateboarding. It was something that I was good at, I liked. It was something that was cheap, and it was something that you always had the option to do. For me, skateboarding was one of my biggest passions. Okay, next one. Along with snowboarding. This is one of my personal favourite pictures. Snowboarding for me was everything. It was freedom. It was exciting. It was being at one with the elements. It was, you know, yourself out there, putting yourself at risk and being at one with nature. And for me, I always felt the most alive when I was skiing. Because I was skiing when I was about 9 years old. So I kind of grew up, and as I grew up more, I got more into my snowboarding. And I always felt the most alive when I was in the mountains. And it was just wonderful, and it was just, you know, it was what I lived for. Okay. But then it changed. So to go to the day, basically my story now changed on New Year's Eve of the millennium. I went to Edinburgh for the holiday, for the party of the century. The story starts. We went out the day before, and obviously we went out on a skinful, as you do. During the day, we was kind of, okay, what do we do to fill the day? Obviously we don't want to start partying too early because we've got all day. So we thought, because we're in Edinburgh, we'll go up to a place called Arthur Seat and have a look at the city. And we'll go to the highest viewpoint in the city and get a good look at the city, you know, and see kind of what we were expecting for the evening. All good and well. We came to a path, and I wasn't a climber, so I was into my mountain biking, snowboarding. I preferred going down things. I never climbed. I didn't consider myself a climber. For some reason, we decided to climb up the verge near Arthur Seat. It was wet and it was slippy. My only real recollection is I kind of got halfway up. I wasn't protected, I wasn't prepared. I was in my normal civvies, I was in normal gear. I slipped back down and I fell and I broke my neck. That's what left me in this situation. But before that, I had a really weird experience. And I say we was trying to fill the day. We decided to go on a underground tour of Edinburgh. And I don't know if anyone's familiar with Edinburgh. You know, it's been quite haunted and there's lots of things that go on in the underground part of the city. So we took an underground tour, as you do. And we went in and it was, I recall the first room that we went in was sealed, and it was obviously there was some kind of witchcraft or something went on in there. And you thought, okay, you're not going to go in there. And they did this tour, and we ended up going in one of the rooms, and there was a stone circle. And the lady started talking, telling all the stories about things that happened in the city and what was going on, etc. And she goes, oh, exactly where that chap stood is where the energies are meant to come in and out of the room. I thought to myself, typical, we'll deal with it right where I'm stood. And I didn't think anything of it, I just kind of laughed it off. An hour, well, after coming out of the building, we went for a pint and I sat with my friends and I said, oh, I've got this really weird feeling in the base of my spine. And it was like, oh, you go off your girl, you're scared and all this, as mates do. And I just laughed it off. Just like, okay, right, whatever. And then it was at that point where we decided to head up to Arthur Seat. And literally about an hour after having this really weird feeling in the base of my spine, I fell, I slipped, I broke my neck, and I was on the way to hospital. I feel it was either a premonition that I felt while I was down in the underground of the city, or it was something that made my life change and go from being physically fit, physically strong, physically able to this. Jury's out on that. I feel definitely, you know, something happened and it made my life change. When I had my injury, some of the friends, they went the proper way, they went up the path. They didn't know anything about it. The friend that was with me, he pretty much saw me fall, and he pretty much thought I was dead, because I just fell about, they said it was about 100 foot, so I kind of, he saw me fall, I was still. Luckily someone called mountain rescue, and luckily someone was on the way, so about the time he got to the top, and everyone was like, well, where's Trevor? He fell. By the time that kind of happened, someone was already on the way. I thought I was going to die. I don't know if it was, it's a little bit blurry, this part, obviously. But I kind of felt at this point, it was either sometime during the initial injury, or sometime during certainly the first hour or so. I thought I was going to die. I thought that's it, game over. I lost my mum when I was 18, and I heard what sounded to me like her voice, and all I heard was "not yet," and that kind of made me go, okay, that's obviously not my time. It took me a while to, evaluate this and kind of come to this conclusion, but it was very clear to me that I heard something or felt something that not yet, so my time wasn't up yet. So anyway, literally about an hour after having this weird feeling, I fell. Mountain rescue had come to, get me. They took me off to Edinburgh Infirmary, and I found out that the only damage I did to myself was I broke my neck. I broke my neck at C4, and I'll probably explain a little bit about how that works. I broke one vertebrae in my lower back, right exactly where I had this weird feeling. And I thought that was a bit strange. I didn't do any damage to my lungs, any of the bones, any of the damage to myself, other than my spine. Can you flick over? I think I've got a picture. Yeah, so this is a little bit, so I explained a little bit about the day of the injury. And can you see that on there? This explains a little bit about the actual spinal cord and how the spinal cord system works. I broke my neck at what's called C4. And this is quite a clear picture. You can see C1 is obviously the one at the top. That's what attaches your skull to your spine. And then as you come down through your spinal cord, C2 kind of operates I think it's your diaphragm and your mainly breathing. And as you come further down, C4 is kind of top end of your shoulder, so you can see I've kind of got some shoulder movement, but not a great deal of arm movement. Whereas if I'd have done C5, my arms might have been a bit better. There's two terms. There's what's known as I'm what's known as tetraplegic, or in America they call it quadriplegic, because quads obviously 4 limbs are paralysed. Over here we call it tetra. You might be also familiar with the term paraplegic. Paraplegic is obviously when someone breaks lower down either some part of the thoracic vertebrae where they lose mainly function in the legs, and they're what known as paraplegic. For me, there's two sorts of injury. There's what's known as a complete injury, and there's what's called an incomplete injury. A complete injury is where someone severs a spinal cord at that level, and you find a lot of people, they have no sensation or no movement whatsoever below that level. I'm very lucky. I'm classed as what's called an incomplete injury. So it means I've got sensation all the way through my body, and I've got feeling, and I've got little bits of movement, but it's just not enough. But I'm quite blessed, I can feel when something wrong, I can feel when something's uncomfortable, I can feel when my shoes are wrong, and I can move my little toes and feet and stuff like that, so it's kind of, the message is getting through to the spinal, from the spinal cord, but not enough to actually have any function. Okay, so that explains it. Is there any questions about the actual spinal cord and how that works? Does that kind of make it a little bit clearer? Yeah? Yeah.
So since the injury, have you recovered some parts of, when you say you've got some sensation in your toes and your other parts of your body? Has it improved at all, or is it?
It improved. It did improve over time. Movement-wise, hasn't really a great deal. It did at the start from a little bit of doing physiotherapy. As time has gone on, more and more, I suppose I've kind of felt more normal with it, but feeling has become more normal to me. But certainly, the first few months, then it was. Sometimes I could feel things, sometimes I couldn't, and it was very strange because it kind of came back left-hand side first, and it kind of came back on the left-hand side, whereas naturally I was right-handed. So it did kind of come and go a little bit. And to kind of elaborate a little bit more about the injury as well, and part of the process, once I'd actually had my injury, basically I was conscious, and I knew what was what. The process then was basically, they flew me down from Edinburgh to Sheffield, and straight away they didn't operate on me. They realised that it would be better to leave my spine to kind of heal itself. So basically I woke up, and the next thing I knew was the doctor saying, you're never going to walk again, you're going to be paralysed. Oh, by the way, you're going to be on bed rest for the next 3 months. So I spent the first part of January 2000